guys? My name is Julie and this is the Curated Curvy, where I bring you along for the journey as I attempt to create the curated wardrobe of my dreams with these two hands. And today I have for you all an April Makes video. So for the month of April, I somehow managed to crank out about 5 or 6 items. There's an extra 4, but I'll explain that in the end, which is quite the feat considering that in the beginning of the month I hurt my back pretty bad, and so the time that I would usually have allocated to sewing was spent between chiropractors and physical therapy in order to get myself back in health. Your girl is doing much better, thank God. I am very grateful for that. It's a continued process, but for the most part, we're operating at about 90%. Anyways, through all of that pain and discomfort and the visitation appointments that I had to fulfill, I was able to crank out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things for myself and 4 things for my daughter. Wild, right? I guess that's what determination will do. So without further ado, let's get into the makes. Alright, so the first dress that I want to talk to you guys about is the one that I'm wearing right now. This is a pattern hack, pattern mashup situation. I actually did record a lot of the footage of me putting together this dress, and then, like any good content creator, I forgot to record the end. So I don't know if I'll be able to put that together and package it in a way that is presentable, but nevertheless we're going to talk about it today. So like I said, this is a pattern mashup, pattern hack situation. So the top portion of the dress is McCall's 79, it's escaping me, but I'll put it up on the screen. But I want to say it's 7942 or 7948. Anyway, the top portion of the dress is McCall's pattern. It's a really basic pattern. It is usually the pattern that I recommend to people if they are interested in starting and they want something easy to start with. I chose this pattern because of that reason exactly. I also sized up on the pattern so that I could put it together without any fastenings. I then went ahead and I made a square neckline. I drafted that onto the pattern myself, and then I also drafted a facing to match the new neckline so that it was finished nicely, because for whatever reason this day I didn't feel like lining things. I did have some regrets later into the process. I remembered why I hate facing so much, but it's done and it's a nice clean finish. So I did a slight square neckline in the front, and then there's also a little bit of a square in the back. I also kind of cut the bodice at an angle to give it a little bit of a basque waist shape, but a lot of that was lost in adding on the skirt, which is fine. I think in the future I'll cut it a little bit deeper just so that the angle is more steep and more pronounced. The sleeves are a simplicity pattern. I adore these sleeves. They are just giant and puffy and full, so I went ahead and took those. The only modification to the sleeves that I made was the elastic cuff. So I think it calls for like a 1/4 to a 1/2 inch. One of those cuts of elastic, I went ahead and I used 1 inch elastic on my cuffs. I've noticed in Rosary Apparel's videos that she always uses a 1 inch piece of elastic for her cuffs, and I feel like it just elevates it. I don't know, it just looks a lot more like polished and it gives more of that cuff effect. For the skirt, I used the skirt that came with the bodice portion, but I used the gathered skirt because it does come with 2 or 3 different skirt options if I'm not mistaken. So I used the gathered skirt, which is a tiered skirt, and instead of making it a tiered skirt, I just cut it off at the first length, and then I lengthened it so that I would have a nice mini skirt. Last thing I did in this situation was, instead of gathering the skirt into the waist, I went ahead and I pleated it. So on the front and the back I used fork pleats, but the style of pleats in the back are like box pleats, and then the pleats towards the front are just like your regular like folded, I think they're called knife pleats, but I could be completely wrong on that. So all in all, I got this lovely creation. This was not the first thing I made, however, in the month of April. The first thing that I made for the month of April was this dress. Now I have a whole pattern review out on this dress, which I will go ahead and I will link in the cards above for you, but this is one of the Laura Ashley vintage reprints from McCall's, and I absolutely adore this dress. I have worn it and I have loved it, and I really enjoy wearing it. I did have plans to make another one of these dresses, but I haven't gotten around to it just yet. I got hurt, and then after that a lot of like new patterns started coming out, and my focus has just been, it's been all over the place, y'all, like literally all over the place. But the cool thing about this dress is it is a wrap dress. It's a true wrap dress, and it has really great coverage. The front of the skirt folds over pretty far, and it can also be worn back to front or front to back, so it is completely reversible, which is also a neat feature. I have seen people wearing it back to front and I kind of want to try it, but this was actually the first thing that I made in the month of April. The next thing I made were these Ruth shorts by Vicky So's Patterns. I've had this pattern and I have been wanting to try it for quite some time now, and I just haven't gotten around to it. I hesitate with things like this, one, because it has a fly front, and also because of sizing. So this was also one of my I think my second attempt at fly front pants. And if I say so myself, it came out really nicely. I really did like the construction and the way that they walk you through putting together the fly front. I feel like it took something that seems very intimidating and made it incredibly accessible. It has a curved waistline and it has these pockets on the side, but this patch is just for decoration. So it has a patch here and a patch here, and then it actually has your inseam pockets. All in all, I really do love this pattern. However, when I tried it on, there's not enough room in the back rise of the pattern, like where my butt is. There's not enough room there for ease and comfort of wearing. So I was actually wearing these to take a picture, and I got a little split in it here, which is a very bad sign, you know? So I went back to the drawing board. I kind of used like what basic level knowledge I have on pants fitting, and I added some width in some areas and some length. And then I also went to Instagram and I asked what I could do to make sure that the front and the back adjustments were mirrored, and I got some good advice on that. So right now I'm in the process of re-editing the pattern, and then I'll make another mock-up, and then I will try these shorts again because I really do want to transition into like more fly front pants, just like a more tailored look. I am an elastic waist pants girly at heart, and I think I will always be, but it's just nice to have something different in your wardrobe, you know? So for the month of April, there were quite a few challenges running on Instagram. Two in particular was the Selfless Sew or Sew Selfless challenge, and then the Sew a Blouse for April challenge. I participated in both from the comfort of my home, but I wasn't able to post because, again, April was a pretty rough month for me, and so yeah, I didn't post. But for the Sew a Blouse challenge, I did make two blouses. The first one, I have a full tutorial up on my channel, and it is this bell sleeve crop, just a simple plain t-shirt. I have made this pattern this way with this hack and these modifications at least 4 times now, and I got a few questions about it on the channel, and so I figured I would use those questions to motivate me to create my first tutorial and see what that's like and the functions of doing a video like that. And so I would greatly appreciate it if you do check out that video and leave your honest feedback on what can be improved upon going into the future and what other tutorials you would like to see from me. So that was this one. The next one is the Dream Frock as a top hack. Now, this is my favorite pattern to date. I have yet to come across a pattern that I love and have made as much as this one. This would actually be, I think, my 6th or my 7th version of this pattern. So like I said, I adore it. Now, I wanted a top. I have 2 Dream Frock tops. One is boned, one is not, but both of them, there are still some things that needed to be tweaked in order for it to be the perfect top for me. So with this one, I did several things. The first thing that I did was I interfaced all of the outer shell pieces. I knew that when this was all said and done, I wanted this to act as a structural garment because it is basically a bustier, and so I wanted that support built into the garment so that I wouldn't have to wear undergarments underneath it, because these the way that the shoulder is shaped, you don't see my bra in the front, but you tend to see the strap in the back, and I don't really like that. So I interfaced the entire outer lining of the bodice, and then I elongated or lengthened each piece by 1 inch. And I also fully boned it, and it is also fully lined. So this is what it looks like on the inside. And then this is the outer side. And I also, with this one, I put the boning channels on the outside of the garment. I don't know if it's showing up because it's like that same, that's such a bad example, guys. So I put the boning channels on the outside of the garment. So I took a piece of like 1 1/4 inch fabric and I just folded the ends in to finish them, and then I put the boning channels, like I said, on the outside of the garment. I just felt like that was a nice touch. I was initially thinking of using a contrasting fabric to do this, but then I felt like it would limit the amounts or the different shades of colors in terms of bottoms that I could wear with this, because there are so many colors in the top. I feel like it gives me a wide array. It gives me a wide range of potential bottoms to wear with it, and so I opted not to do a contrasting binding color and just keep it the same as the top. And I absolutely love it. I think of all the ones that I've made, this is, of the tops, excuse me, this is my most successful and definitely my favorite. And I can see myself wearing this a lot into the summer. And just on a whim was I used a separating zipper. I didn't fully take the binding stitches out, the basting stitches, but I used a separating zipper and I needed to cut the zipper significantly in order for it to fit the back of this. And I didn't have any pliers or anything. I watched a few videos of people using pliers to like take off the zipper teeth and reposition it, and I didn't have any of that, and even if I did, it's not something that I would want to do. So what I ended up doing was I sewed a stitch through the top of the zipper that ran in between the two top zipper teeth, and that creates the perfect stop. And so the zipper does not slide off. It stops like literally right when you get to that stitch that I sewed there. So that is a tip that I have never seen before, but I feel like it's very useful going forward. The last thing that I made in the month of April was my subscribers pick my dress. So basically I put up a poll on YouTube and on Instagram, and I gave you all a bodice option, a skirt option, and a fabric option, and you all got to choose, and then I would sew the dress. And this is the dress that I came up with. Now there is a full video, a short but full video coming up on this dress very soon if it isn't already up, so I will spare you all of the gorgeous details until then. But it was a really fun challenge, and it is definitely something that I look forward to doing in the future. Also, I put the post up on YouTube as well as on Instagram, and my different like subscribers and followers on the respective platforms picked two very different dresses, which I thought was interesting. The only thing that was consistent between both platforms was the choice of fabric. I ended up using this fabric though for the dress that my YouTubers, you guys, picked, because I feel like this is where I spend the most of my time in terms of content creation and putting stuff out there, and this is where I get the majority of my interaction. So I wanted to make sure that I was giving you guys what you wanted first and foremost. Like I said, there should be a video coming up on this, if not already up, pretty soon, so keep your eyes peeled for that one. There were two challenges that I chose to participate in, even though I didn't post on the socials for the month of April, and the second one was the selfless sew challenge, and for that I chose to sew some things up for my daughter. So last year around November I made her this shirt, but it was originally a mock neck and a long sleeve shirt, and I noticed that we're getting well into spring, and we're in Texas, and so there really isn't a spring. It's like spring for 2 weeks and then it's just summer from here on out. And she was still wearing that shirt, so obviously she really liked it. She said that she really liked the way it fit. So I took it upon myself to just spend an entire morning sewing, and I made her 4 more in different fabrics. So 2 of them are currently in the wash, and then these are the 2 that were still on hangers. I'll put the pattern up for you. It's a really simple pattern and it comes together incredibly easy. This one I used fabric scraps from my stash. This one was a fabric that she actually picked out herself. I made her one in a heather gray t-shirting fabric, and then I also made her one in a plain black fabric. I do plan to go back and make leggings to match this one because I have some of this brown fabric left over, as well as leggings in this fabric, so that she has a cute little set, because we love sets around here. All right guys, and that is all of the makes for the month of April. Like I said, all things considered, I am pretty stunned with myself that I was able to pump out that amount of things given my situation. Like I said, feeling much better now. Definitely looking forward to May and all of the sewing that is to come. I do have a planned video coming up very soon where I'm going to talk about my intentions for May going forward. And spoiler alert, I have a pretty well-stocked spring wardrobe. This is my favorite season, spring and summer, especially for sewing, so I don't need to make a ton of things. So the things that I plan on making going forward, I want to intentionally challenge me. Things that I'm scared of, things that I feel like would take too much time, or things that I just think I might outright fail at. So look forward to that and the plans to come. Tell me what is on your mind for sewing next month. What did you make in the month of April? Any good patterns that I need to know about? And I think that's it. Until next time, stay beautiful, make great things, like, like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. I'll see you next time. Bye.